another slave up there and looked at him with amazement. So you had slaves also in the city. Verse 32.
Verse 32.
That's pop. You do that city right now.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another people. What that sound like to you? Somebody shake your son, your daughter, and give it to somebody else. What that sound like?
Yo,
what would we call that though?
there he is.
Who that happened to? It happened to other people though, but it did happen to, no, you're right. It happened to students because somebody else said, well, it happened to everybody. True, other nations went into slavery, but let's get a little more definitive. How did we get over here from Africa? What? You know what I want.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
Reading curses. Egypt means bondage. Another word for bondage is slavery. Scripture said the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. You know anything about the Bible? Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, right? They never went back physically. So now you're reading a prophecy and saying you should go to Egypt again. So does that mean all of us going back to where the pyramids are? No, Egypt only means bondage or slavery. So the Most High said you would go into slavery. Tell them how.
And the Lord shall bring you into Egypt again.
Slavery again.
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
How we got over here, y'all? Let's talk about us. And who's he talking to? He's talking to Israelites. So the Israelites were going to slavery on ships. Keep reading.
By the way whereof I speak unto thee, thou shalt not see it no more again.
You will never see your homeland again, which is Jerusalem, not Africa. Because if you do your history, in 70 AD, Jerusalem was occupied by melanated people. The Romans came in, Titus of Vespasian, and they ransacked, they destroyed everybody in there, and it was a prophecy given by the Christ. When you see the armies encompass Jerusalem, flee to the mountains, it was talking about Africa. So you had a dark nation, the Israelites, running to blend in with another dark nation, the Africans. That's how we got, ask anybody who say we're African, how we got to Africa. Or where were we before Africa? We ran into Africa. You can get the history book that said from, what it said from?
Babylon 10 books.
From Pompeii, Pompeii to, I forgot off the top of my head, over 1 million black Jews fled into Africa. So that's how we got in there, to blend in with another dark race. So when you hear, when somebody talk about slavery, they say, well, your own people sold you into slavery. Wrong. Black Africans sold black Israelites into slavery. They got with the Arab man and sold us to the so-called white man. That's just truth. Can't nobody say that's racist, that's wrong, that's truth. That's documented history, right? So keep reading.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
Sold to who?
Unto your enemies.
Because like my brother always say, friends don't sell friends into slavery. Only the enemy would do that. If I say you slave, I'm not your brother. Read.
You shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen,
slave men,
and bondwomen.
Slave women, come on.
And no man shall buy you.
Now when you really look at that, no man shall buy you. In our laws, if one of our brothers waxed poor and was sold, you as a brother could buy him back. Right there, no man could buy you back. Because this is going to be a long, drawn-out captivity. You understand? Give me verse 37. Because like we said, black, you was called black, you was called African American, you was called African. How many different names you going to be called? Who are we? Who are we? We're getting the inkling now through the scripture, which no church is bringing up. Not one church. But the brothers are going to come to the streets to teach their people. Verse 37.
Book of Deuteronomy 28, verse 37.
Let's go.
And that shall become an astonishment, a proverb.
Astonishment. Other nations look at you, because you were here, we was the kings of the earth at one point, right? You hear stuff like that. So the other nations are astonished, like, how such a great people fell so low? Because we broke the commandments. See, all this marching, Black Lives Matter, we understand where y'all heart at, but guess what? It's not going to work. Alexander Hagen, a former Joint Chief of Staff, a general, and Secretary of State, he said, let them march all they want, as long as they pay their taxes. We've been marching since the 60s, nothing changed. Because if it changed in the 60s, we wouldn't have to be marching now.
Right.
It's not working. So at a point, you're going to have to come to understand this is a spiritual fight. March all you want, it's not going to work. That's not doing nothing. You could at least, at the very least, y'all, stop boycotting. But the main reason you're in this situation, because God chose you to represent him on earth, and we decided to follow other nations instead of Most High, so all the curses fell upon us, which we read right now. Come on, read.
And there you should become an astonishment. A proverb.
A proverb is a saying. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a nigga by his toe. You want to have something from a black man, put it in the book. Those proverbs are going to befall us. Go ahead.
And a byword.
A byword. Black, African American, Hispanic, Native American, Afro American, those are bywords, meaning that it's nigga, meaning that it's not your nationality. You see what I'm saying now? Give me verse 48. 46. We want to see how long this curse lasts.
Verse 46. And there shall become, it said, and they shall be upon thee as for a sign.
Hold on. A seed shall be upon thee for a sign. Like we know we're on Lower Street because it's a sign right there to identify the street. So the script said these curses will be a sign upon thee for how long?
And for a wonder upon thy seed forever.
Forever, meaning that Christ come and get you out of the situation. So the curse is going to stay upon the so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans because we broke God's commandments. So the only solution to get back where we're supposed to be and to get out of the situation of being gunned down unarmed is to start coming back to the commandments as a nation of people. Just because you got a few brothers here, a few brothers there doing it, that's not going to work. Because we tried everything else. We tried Christianity. It's not working. We're praying. Let's get together and pray. God is not hearing our prayer.
Right.
Give me John 9:31, so I need another reader. God is not hearing our prayers. Do not listen to the church. Listen to what the Bible says. God is not hearing our prayers. So you got, give me John 9:31. Watch this.
All right. The book of John, chapter 9 and verse 31. Now we know that God heareth not sinners.
The Bible said God what?
But we know that God heareth not sinners.
God is not hearing the prayer of a sinner. That's not no interpretation. Read it again.
The book of John, chapter 9 and verse 31. Now we know that God heareth not sinners.
God is not hearing our prayers. Why? What is sin? Sin is breaking God's law. Our people, as a nation of people, black and Hispanic, are breaking God's laws. So since you're breaking the laws, he's not even listening to your prayers. That's why we want to continue to get shot down. That's why we want to continue to be selling drugs to our brothers and to our sisters. That's why we want to continuing to run down our communities, because we're not turning back to the law, and the Most High is fighting against us. Go back to where you were. Give me Jeremiah 6 and 14.
Verse 46. And there shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder upon thy seed forever.
So the curse is going to last forever. Verse 48. Check it.
Verse 48. But thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness.
So the reason we're in this situation is because we're not serving the Most High with joyfulness, like the Sabbath day, which is Friday at dark to Saturday at dark. There should be no selling, can't sell nothing, no buying, and no cooking. You got to prepare your food before the sun go down on Friday. Because we don't want to do that and eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, because all those are against God's law. It's true with man's law, but God has his own set of laws for his people so that we can be different from everybody else. But because we're not doing that with joyfulness, the curses has come upon us. The curses have come upon us. And that's the reason why you feel you got to walk around with handcuffs, which I like that symbolic gesture, but at the same time, we got to understand why we're in these handcuffs. You see what I'm saying? And all the answers in the Bible. But guess what? When we was in slavery, the white man watered the Bible down to the point, you go to another black brother, that's a white man book. First thing I'm going to ask you, you said it's a white man book. Show me the content of this book that's white. Revelation 1:14. Show me the content of the book that's white. Because growing up, in mama and grandma's house, you had the picture of Christ, white man, long string hair. Again, we're not hating on no race, we're bringing out the truth. We're speaking straight truth. So let's see, was Christ that color? Now, who was he talking to? He was talking to the Israelites. And all these things that happen, would you agree that that happens to so-called blacks and Hispanics? Because the Hispanics went into slavery. When they came over to South America, they took a lot of them and took them back to Spain on slave ship. So would you say that fit them? So instead of calling yourself a black man, when I ask you your nationality, brother, what's your nationality?
All praise.